New Testament or Old Testament? Which has influenced you more and why?
Well, I'd have to go with something like the New Testament, but I think it's always these things are always subject to so much interpretation, and so I think it's I don't think something like any of these holy books are they stand on their own. If they did, that's always an anti-religious argument at the end of the day.
The Hebrew Bible, to me, has more of this dialectic that we found in a lot of the other topics, mix of optimism and pessimism, much more irony, multiple voices, varying perspectives. So my answer would be Hebrew Bible has influenced me much more than the New Testament, which has hardly influenced me at all. Now, you're different in that way, but what it is in your character or intellect or background do you think accounts for that difference, given some of the other things you've said?
Let's see. I'm trying to think of this. It's probably. Well, I would disagree with that sort of a characterization of it. So I think that I think Christ is a very complex, very ambiguous figure in many ways. It's always which makes, I think, the interpretation quite difficult. I think that I think almost everything that Christ said could be described as an answer to something that's true that most people did not agree on. And I think for the most part, it was necessary for Christ to be very careful how he expressed himself. It was mostly in these sort of extremely parabolic, indirect modalities, because if it had been too direct, it would have been very dangerous. I think it was John Locke, in The Reasonableness of Christianity, said that Christ obviously had to mislead people, since if he had not done so, the authorities might have tried to kill him.
So there's a kind of Straussian Christ here.
That's the Straussian interpretation of Christ.
Okay.
Which I think is at least true for, it didn't end in a particularly Straussian way, but I think it was at least true for most of his ministry.